arguments are not persuasive. They're not effective. Last week during the hearing, it was striking. Not a single Democrat asked any questions that defended the far left's view of religious liberty, which is that the Supreme Court should go through the public square, scour the public square to remove any reference to God Almighty. Not a single Democrat defended the far left's radical view of religious liberty, that the government has the power to punish you for living out your faith. I noticed these lovely photographs in the place where our Democratic colleagues normally would be. You know, one photograph I don't see is a photograph of the Little Sisters of the Poor. Little Sisters of the Poor, a Catholic convent of nuns who've taken a vow of poverty, who the Obama administration persecuted because they were living according to their religious faith, and who Joe Biden pledges to once again persecute if he is elected. Not a single Democrat in this committee defended that radical view of religious liberty because the American people don't want it. They want a court that will actually protect our religious liberty, not take it away. Not a single Democrat during the hearing last week defended the Democrats' radical view of free speech, which is that the federal government has the authority to regulate political speech, to regulate your free speech, and to silence you if you dare criticize a politician. That is a terrifying increase in government power. There have been 4 votes on the left for that proposition, that the federal government has the power to ban movies, that the federal government has the power to ban books. That was the position of the 4 dissenters in Citizens United, and not a single Democrat would defend that radical proposition because the American people have no interest in a federal government that has the power to regulate free speech. On the Second Amendment, not a single Democrat defended the proposition that 4 dissenters in Heller versus District of Columbia maintained, which is that the Second Amendment protects no individual right to keep and bear arms whatsoever. Which means that government can make it a crime, a felony for any American to own a firearm, and there's nothing you can do to challenge it in court. There are 4 votes for that. 1 vote away. Not a one of them defends that radical proposition. And so I would say to all of us in the majority, we should take solace from this. They know the propositions they're advancing are radical, they are extreme, they're not what the American people want. To all of the grassroots activists who are out there fighting right now, less than 2 weeks away from Election Day, fighting to defend the Constitution and Bill of Rights, take solace in the fact that our absent Democrats understand last week was not going well for them. They tried to ask a few questions of Judge Barrett, and they realized this ain't good. The American people seeing this smart, calm, talented, principled jurist pledging to defend the Constitution, that is a problem for us, the Democrats. And by day 2 of the questioning, they had gotten out of Dodge. By midday, there were only 2 Democrats even left in the hearing room. Now, of course, 2 Democrats is more than we have here today. So it went from barely being present to being totally absent. There's a reason why Joe Biden and Kamala Harris refused to answer the question whether they intend to pack the court, because the answer is yes. If they get power, they will move to pack the court, to expand the number of justices, to fill it with partisans, an abuse of power that would do immense damage to the independence of the judiciary. And why won't they answer the question? Because they know it is profoundly unpopular. They know the American people don't want to see the court politicized, its independence destroyed, which is what today's Senate Democrats are pushing. The stakes of this confirmation and the stakes of this election coming up in 2 weeks are enormous. The reason the Democrats want to see leftists on the court is so that a majority of judges, unelected lawyers in robes, can mandate policy outcomes that the American people don't want, that they would never vote for, without our colleagues having to take responsibility for it. There are times when it seems Republican senators don't necessarily understand that the principles we're fighting for, the overwhelming majority of the American people are with us. But you know who understands that very well? The Senate Democrats who refuse to attend today. Congratulations, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Cruz, for your participation in this hearing process. You bring a lot to the table for the conservative point of view and actually understand the process as well as anybody I've ever met. And thank you, Senator Lee, for reminding us how we got here. We got here through a tortured tale of abusing people, of trying to get outcomes, changing the rules to accommodate political desires, and it's ended today. I would love to go back to the traditional Senate approach of having to grab some people on the other side of the aisle to confirm a judge, but that was abandoned in 2013 for a purpose, to stack the D.C. Court of Appeals. That's where all litigation involving the federal government goes. And Senator Schumer and Senator Reid, to his credit, says, I did it, I'd do it again, and we should change the legislative filibuster. That's where Senator Harry Reid's at. I'm hoping that this election, people will listen to what Senator Cruz just said. We are one vote away from fundamentally changing the Second Amendment, changing how free speech works in this country, and on and on and on. So when they changed the rules in 2013 and filibustered Justice Gorsuch, requiring us to change the rules, it set in motion some things that I've worried about for a long time. But here's some good news. The Judiciary Committee got it right when it came to Judge Barrett. We did the right thing. It would have been wrong